Good evening, everypony, and welcome to Commentary as Magic Stream on today's Sunday, April 21st, 2024. I am, as always, Grand Pause.
Big Cheese?
Arcat, and
Tired.
that's my name.
No, that's my name.
I stole it, but I'll give it back to you if you're nice to me.
Changeling Imposter. Alright, how does it feel?
Changeling.
My
How-
job.
How does it feel to be out-changeling?
That's not my job. I'm a faithful changeling, not a traitor.
Ah,
It's a shame. Should have been a traitor. You would have won the tournament. Spoilers.
Eh.
Meh.
Speaking of tournament, we had a couple. They were a few weeks ago now at this point in time, but we had to give time for things to settle and for other people to give their opinions before we go in there and give objectively wrong opinions about things. Or objectively correct, depending on your perspective, I guess.
I don't think they had much to say about Adventure.
Subjectively, objectively correct opinions.
Just go out with the intention of burning things. You'll always be in the wrong, and that's okay.
Burn the scorecard. We don't need it.
What do you think my strategy was? Come on.
What, burn the scorecard?
I mean, I might as well.
Point limits, where we're going, we don't need point limits. I mean, there were some points being scored in this tournament. It was, interesting, to say the least. But I think we're going to start talking about something that was maybe even more interesting, at least in concept, if not in practice directly. The very first tournament that we've held of a new organized, official, unofficial format. It was a new thing, okay? Of course, we are talking about the tournaments that were present at BABSCon 2024, which was a good time. The 10th year that BABSCon has run, and the 10-year anniversary of the My Little Pony collectible card game, for what it's worth.
Which we had a panel for.
Which we sure did.
I
It is
threw
available.
packs at people.
You did.
Things occurred in that
Yeeted
panel.
packs.
That panel involved slight amounts of nostalgia. There was good nostalgia. Anyway. But we also ran the first of a Naylander tournament, which is still a terrible name and a really bad pun. And I'm upset
So
at
it's a
Aura
good
for...
name.
It's a good name.
It is a good name.
I mean, it's fine. People will still call it Highlander. It doesn't affect much.
Affects my mental.
No, that's exactly the point here. The caliber of a name is determined entirely upon how much people groan upon hearing it. This is a good name. It causes you, like, psychic damage.
I can't even argue about that. He's right. So, the rules for Naylander were pretty simple. Deck size of exactly 75 cards. No, yes, exactly 75 cards.
Which I'm still salty about.
Well, you can be as salty as you want. And no more than one copy of any card in the draw or problem deck for either player, asterisk. And it is for exactly one person here that I have to put that asterisk there. Because while the rest of us were sitting there saying, boy, it sure is a pain to build an entirely singleton 75 card deck in a Harmony format for, like, a format that we've never played before.
Hey, look.
And some of us were doing it multiple times to, pad the numbers of the event so people who didn't have these cards available could go and play. One of us was like, I'm going to work smarter, not harder.
If your deck does not require you to execute double entry bookkeeping during the course of the tournament, are you even playing?
This is a fair point. So anyway, let's take a look at those Harmony Nylander decks and see what the heck was going on.
What is going on?
We don't have to spend a whole lot on this one, but it is here.
Hey, there's 10 different problems.
This is a legal deck, and I'm annoyed that you wouldn't let me run uncountably infinite numbers of Puckwudgies.
I sure was not going to do that. You were allowed to run 75, though.
Okay, and I'm not kidding about the double entry bookkeeping here, because the way I played this was I just had some physical copies of the Puckwudgie cards, and then I'm like, okay, here is the number of Puckwudgies in this zone. or at this area, and I decrement the number here and increment the number there, thus playing a card from my hand. Oh, you dismissed one. Well, I'll decrement the number at the problem and increment the number in the discard pile.
You turned this game into an accounting worksheet.
Yes. Generally accepted Puckwudgie principles.
Practices.
Gap. It's still just gap.
Amazing.
Well, how'd it do?
Exactly as well as I thought it would. There's a reason we're showing it first.
Was there a message that you intended on sending with this?
Puckwudgie?
No, the message was sent by Hithrock, but we'll talk about that when we get to it. Well, actually, we won't get to it, will we?
No, we will.
No.
No, we won't. It did not make top cut.
Puckwudgie was also run in Adventure.
I'm unsurprised that it did not make top cut. This deck is bad. Don't play this deck.
It's very easy to build. For what that's worth.
It's not easy to play, though, because you have to do the bookkeeping.
It's very easy to play. You just need a few dice and a copy of Puckwudgie and a piece of paper and pen.
Now, so I'm actually going to disagree here. It's very easy to play, but not for the reasons that you're citing here. If you are in a tournament that is at all competent, you can achieve an equivalent result by starting the game going, I concede and do something else for 35 minutes.
You know what? That's valid. That's fair.
Well, at that point, just reevaluate your life choices.
I mean,
or you could do what Queen Novo's doing on that card and sleep.
Is she really sleeping?
I have no idea. I don't remember. But she looks like she's sleeping.
No, she's sitting there making the amuse me.
Shall we move on to the next deck that maybe we don't have to stretch for content on quite that much?
Yeah.
Why did you have to stretch for that? Like, we could have just been like, deck is bad, move on. Why are we still looking at this?
I don't know.
Here's a better deck.
Oh no.
Is this really how they're gonna look? Alright,
Okay.
You want to see 100 cards? Or it's not 100 cards, sorry, 75 cards.
No, it's fine. This is... You know what,
Bugle.
GP? You take this one.
This is Bugle's deck.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, you got... It's
purple-pink.
It's purple-pink control, right? That is running Dreamcatcher for the sake of being able to find your singleton events, of which all of your events are singleton events. The real bold claim here is, in a Nylander format, running a copy of Tranquility.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a 74 card deck.
Yeah, it's a 74 card deck.
Correct. That's that, and then it's not running, Wait, is it running that? What is that pink event?
Which one?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Party notes. I don't think it is.
Surprise party notes?
No, surprise party notes not in here.
Yeah, that's another one of those. I'd like to run just one fewer card in my deck.
By the time it gets to 8 points. It is running, however, ATO, and I don't think this is the first time we're going to see that card in this tournament.
You know what this isn't running, though? Which it really should be?
What's that?
Destiny Drain.
Why?
So that he can dismiss one Pukwudgie and then Destiny Drain Pukwudgie.
Burn the entire deck, yes.
Which is admittedly very funny. But only in that one tournament.
I'm surprised this deck didn't do better. I mean, there were only 3 rounds, but...
Part of the thing that was tricky here was getting Luna, paying 3 to get Luna flipped, and then you had these events. I'm trying to remember, it ran into an issue.
Everything does look really expensive, and I assume it's running every AT generator it can, but...
Not quite, but it has most of them. There's no... I don't think
Trixie's there.
Trixie
Yeah.
is in here.
There's
no,
ATO, Trixie, Duck.
Everything is here.
Because I don't remember her name. Rainbow Shine.
Trixie, Rainbow, Truffle. ATO, Powerful Magic. Hey, Truffle did work. Zakura's in there as well.
Yeah. And I don't know, somebody said Waning Moon, I think she does some.
Yeah, but that's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah. I mean, ATO.
It did stuff. It's just challenging, right? Because one of the things that has historically made control decks, especially purple X control decks, work well is their ability to be consistent. You have enough card filtering or card recursion or, reuse through portal effects that you can effectively produce the card effect that you want multiple times over. And as long as you choose to include the right card effects to disrupt whatever it is your opponent is planning on doing, you'll be fine. While this deck is certainly capable of finding any single individual effect, its ability to keep getting that effect becomes much harder. And thus, if you are trying to protect against everything, it is much harder to continuously protect or guard or control your opponent against doing one thing.
Yeah. Alright, ready to see the next deck?
Yep. It does have white BS though, so, it gets credit for that.
So next we have Istogrim with Fluttershy, purple, white, anything else? Okay, those are the colors.
I was introduced to cards I had never heard of before when playing against this deck. You see that one third from the left on the second row there, Peachy Pit, Salesmare, something suave Salesmare. I defy anyone to tell me what the ability text of that card is without looking it up. Go on, I'll wait.
They're all
no
hidden
cheating.
so you can't see.
Yeah, that's one of those, I think that
What
card might
set
exist
is that
in an
even
alternate
from?
universe. It's probably Candlelight Knights or
It's
something.
Premiere, but I have no idea.
It's Premier Block, yeah, that's about how I felt, and the best part is when it came out, I read that and I was like, oh, this hoses me, this is bad. This was cool. I think that Instagram was saying that if he could go back and edit this again, he was going to drop one of the 2 secondary colors and just focus a bit more on either just white or just purple. I don't remember which one specifically. And just go all in on the epic troublemaker farming with Reformer, which this did a very good job of.
Yeah, because I kind of like tricolor is kind of attractive when you can only have one of each card, but that means you also have one of each of the color entries too. So
that gets a little hard.
Actually getting into all the colors
This was super cool though. It was very, very neat. I also completely misread Instagram's main there at the beginning and thought that this was Beastmaster, not Reformer, and so I was prepared for like critters moving during face-offs, and that is not what happens.
Is this the one that removes the ability of the Trollmaker?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Reformer.
Okay.
Very, very cool deck.
Yeah, so next we have Hithrock. Wait, where's it? Click, there we go. Running Celestia Pink with a little white. How much white is there? There's a decent amount of white.
Just enough to be able to run some of the white cards that he needs. Mist Main, obviously it's gonna work.
Okay,
Cleaning
hold on.
up.
I know what you're looking for, and the answer is yes.
You know what? I'm disappointed.
Why?
Why are you disappointed?
There's
There's not-
only
Not enough Trixies?
5 Trixies? I expected better of you, Hithrock.
There are, in fact, not enough Trixies in here, and that's okay.
6. Forgot about that one.
It's okay. Because every single friend in this entire deck, with one exception, no, 2 exceptions, I'm sorry.
Gyro, Mare.
That's it. Those are the only 2 that are not either unicorns or alicorns.
Tempest.
Tempest is a unicorn.
Is she?
Yeah, mostly.
Oh yeah, he's a unicorn, isn't he? Huh.
Royal Tutor is definitely. I'm surprised that there weren't at least 1 or 2 other people who didn't at least try to make Royal Tutor work, because it's very attractive in a singleton format.
Yeah, I remember talking about it.
Part
before
of the thing
event.
part of the thing that's tricky is while Royal Tutor definitely does increase your consistency, you're really kind of pigeonholed into playing a deck that looks very, very similar to this. You're not going to be able to branch out into a lot of orange or a lot of blue or a lot of yellow because those colors are not prone to having a lot of unicorns right now. So you're basically playing purple, pink, white control, and if that's not your, if that's not your game, you're probably not going to have a good time.
Yeah.
Watch
But
as
what-
I proceed to list all the people who've played purple, pink, white control before.
I mean, there's a lot of people who have played that. But yeah, I mean, it's fun. It did a decent job of controlling the game, and it has more reusable consistency than Luna does, but it also has a much tougher earlier game. I was still surprised that Hithrock ended up going in this direction where he's not even using Buckball strategy as his starting problem. That's
He
a little-
opted for mystery. That is his only starting problem, right?
Yep. Well, technically, what's that other one? Oh no, that's right. Foolish is not. So yeah, it's mystery. That's it.
Foolish absolutely should not be a starting problem.
Cool deck though. Next one.
Obligatory bodyguard complaint.
Yona Sandbar.
Oh, hey, this is a lot of resources. How many resources is this running?
Yes.
A few.
So many hats.
I mean, you gotta.
I looked at Rarity Dressmaker, then I looked at Sandbar and Yona, and I thought, hats are white, but other cards that are not hats are also white.
You looked at Bag of Leaflets, and then you looked at your banned copy of Rainbow Shine.
I did. And then I thought, Yak's best at aggro. And they were not best at aggro, but they were pretty good. This was a lot of fun. And that's mostly what I wanted. You get just tremendous amounts of power boosts, and you're playing a bunch of cards from your hand, and you have some consistency in being able to find resources, and you get a couple goofy finishers you can have as well. But mostly, it's just a good time.
It has
We're gonna
Coco.
we're gonna sit there and play a little old-fashioned hats-based shin kicking.
Yeah.
I didn't win every game I played. That's totally fine. This was some of the most fun I've had playing this game in recent memory. It was a new format. It got the chance to play with old favorite cards and some cards that I had never used before. It was just fun. I just had a good time with this. Do some aggro math. Occasionally don't do aggro math and just overcommit to a problem. Have lots of points acceleration, especially in a game where you start with Overpowering and Rarity Pony Pirate and RTO. That was a stupid game. But yeah, I had a good time with this. I would absolutely play it again, and I probably will, because I can't be bothered to build that many decks. So I'm just going to leave this one together.
It's already built. Why not?
That's right. Sunk cost fallacy, right? Yeah, it was a good time, though. Sandbar and Yona can absolutely play more aggressively than this one did by just leaning even heavier into, like, cheap white stuff, and that's fine, but I think the hats and the blue opened up more point acceleration here and also synergized well with the movement, so you're more likely to be able to DFO, and that was pretty fun. So, had a good time. Also, being able to use Rarity Radiance seriously was unusual.
I don't even remember what it does.
Banishes non-resource cards from your hand to tutor accessories. Not bad. All right. Next list.
Let's see who is next. Ah, Sokol.
The first time that I can remember seeing Sokol using print and play cards.
And not running
The Seleno deck.
Seleno.
And he leaned so heavily into it that he said, I'm only using print and play cards.
Is it only print and play?
Except in the problem deck, because I don't think that's possible.
Oh, yeah.
Not for monocolor, true.
Wouldn't even, like, how do you even do 75? I guess this is how you do it, but there's a reason this was Harmony.
Is there really? There really isn't anything else, is there? This is all print and play, every single bit. Wow.
Still worked.
Well done.
Seemed to do pretty well.
Blue go fast.
Also troublemakers, just to annoy your opponent, because I don't have that many blue cards, so I guess I'll just pack annoyance.
I mean, if we're looking at the triad mains, right? Lord Tyrek is definitely one of the most accessible ones where you can just have this powerful effect and it's pretty dang irritating, and you don't have to dramatically overcommit to a particular strategy like Chrissy might have to with taxing, for example. Frightening's just good. And if you can frighten repeatedly, then it's even better. And if there's plenty of opportunities to get the opponent involved in face-offs, like by running a bunch of troublemakers, then hey, why wouldn't you, right? Also might be kind of hard to flip Seleno enough times to win the game when you're only allowed one copy of Tempest.
Yeah, that does get a lot worse when you can't do that 3 times, doesn't it?
Yeah. Anything else to add on this one?
I think so. So
Okay.
next we have Max. Dream Warrior Pink.
Boo.
It go fast.
Hot Wings does Hot Wings things.
This is the thing in these kind of formats is there's just so many more cards that are favorable to aggro, and they keep doing things while in play versus control.
You mean aggro cards that have continuous abilities or stat lines or things like that that are desirable?
Yeah, they're useful in play versus being useful when played.
Control does kind of lean heavily on the ETB stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah. We do
That's
not
why
have
Burb-
that many
that's why Burb was
things.
a thing.
Yeah, we don't have that much stuff that's like pay 2 to destroy your opponent.
Meanwhile, pink and blue is just like, hold my sire.
I'll pay 2 and double confront. Score 5 points. Thanks.
Why on
Stupid-
earth would someone want to do this?
It's a stupid main.
But yeah, this is basically using all the fun aggro cards, at least in blue and pink, from the beginning of the game till now. I mean, is there a Holly Dash? No Holly Dash, but like Wildfire, Winged Wonder, Night Glider.
There's only so many deck. I mean, if you want
There's
to just
Flitter.
run everything, you can.
And
But
Lily.
eventually, yeah, Flitter and Lily are great.
Did Lily eat a friend to come into play? Like, she did something.
Lily, she eats a friend and adds that friend's power.
Yeah,
to
that's
her
what it
until
was.
End of turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she can just be a 2-cost 4 power. Also, I played a friend. I'm going to move my main up here because Bluna is, fair and balanced.
Luna is perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
2 AT for 7 power seems reasonable.
I still don't know why anyone would do this.
But yeah.
Animoy says Sunset Festival. Yes.
It is running that.
You can't be mad at this deck because it's including the fun card. And that clearly absolves the deck of all sins, right? You can run the hardest control or the nastiest, most degenerate prison combo or, anything like that. But as long as you include Sunset Festival, you're innocent.
That's why I ran 46 card decks.
So you could run one copy of Sunset Festival and then be blameless?
Yeah. I did that at a few
For
tournaments.
running old money?
Yeah, I think it was what I was running old money.
Yeah, that was the old money BRB deck, and you did just run 46 cards. It was stupid.
No. You can't be mad at me. See, I'm having fun.
As I proceed to have Meticulous 2 and steal your things and retire all the things.
Any guess? Well, I mean, everyone's seen the lists, but any guesses for what's next?
Go ahead.
Nope, not at all.
It's pretty close.
Did it change? Oh, yeah, okay.
No, we did choose a few different things,
Yeah.
mainly because I just started grabbing the first things that I found. And I was like, yeah.
Is this pink and or blue? Cool, good enough.
You both?
No, is this pink and or blue and does it do fast or destroy things? Cool,
Okay.
I'll run it.
But they both have Sunset Festival.
Of course we both have Sunset Festival. I get to take your one copy of one of your friends, and that could be your important friend.
Right, that's the best thing, right? If the opponent's not running a portal effect or a frighten effect, they're guaranteed to not get that friend for the rest of the game. That's heartbreaking. You've stolen their friend forever. They can never get it back.
Exactly.
So
And
mean.
even better, I'm gonna retire it.
Oh, it's just tragic. It's very funny.
Think you're running more?
Ara, do you have thoughts on this, stealing the things and retiring all the things?
It was better when Berry Flop was a thing.
It was. You have one more friend.
Soren will devour the friend.
I mean, there's a reason that we ran this thing with the Harmony ban list, because this would have gotten stupid otherwise.
Yeah.
Oh, if you ran this with no Harmony ban list, you know that everyone just be running F-stop.
Yep. if you could get it.
They'd find a way.
F-stop is not a unicorn, sadly. Okay, so that's all of the Naylander decks. I think it's time to go to Adventure.
What, and talk competitive format here for a second?
No,
That's
this
just a bad
this was the
format. Go
competitive
on.
format.
I was just gonna say, I just want to talk more fun, like Blue X aggro or like
You
singleton
got mad
control.
at me for running Blue
Or-
X aggro.
I
Or
got mad
or
at you
mill.
for playing Blue X aggro when we did our internal thing because we had 100 card decks and you still had a better hand than anyone that I saw over the course of the entire BABSCon tournament. So yeah, I got mad.
All I said was I want to run an aggro deck. It's not my fault that was the only aggro deck that worked with the 100 card.
I mean, it did work very well with 100 cards. I can't deny.
Oh
can still
god,
be
here we
mad.
go. Is it time to sing some
Yeah,
songs?
it's singing time.
Wait, is this it? Is this the whole deck?
I think so.
This seems
5.
really light.
And it
Is
seems
this
so
really it?
small after looking at all these.
Hold on. 5, 11, 12, plus 5 is 17, 19,
I can go click on the link.
22, 25, 28,
It is
31,
51 cards.
47.
It just looks small because we were just looking at
No, that is actually the whole deck.
Naylander.
Yeah, my eyes are all messed up.
Wow. Prism Light, I'm going to ask you to use a different acronym for that because my brain immediately interprets BDH as something else. That's fine, though. I know you're going for Highlander. Yeah, it's Mill. What do you want to say? It's Octavia.
It's
Octavius
what
is
caused Hethrock to
but
protest.
but there was a different card in this deck. Torque Wrench is new, right?
Torque Wrench is new, as is Sweet Apple Factory. I
Remember when
wanted to-
Sweet Apple Factory was rated a 1?
Because I wanted to try messing around with those and seeing what could be done. And they're good. Torque Wrench should probably just be Big Mac instead, but there's circumstances where it's better to play Torque Wrench instead. Sweet Apple Factory was just fun because I kept looking at all these power counters adding up
Yeah.
from playing Raise This Barn and was like, hey, what if this thing...
That seems not bad.
It was not bad. It was okay. The rest of Mill you can make some questions on, or have questions about as for whether or not it's a good thing that it exists in its current form. I think there's probably a few tweaks that should be made, not to the deck overall, but to specific cards within the deck, just to give more than one type of opponent a more fighting chance against it. And ultimately, this also just changes with what cards are available in the card pool. But it did fine. It did well. It was fun enough for me to play. And you know what? Sometimes that's all you need.
I'm glad you specified fun enough for you to play.
I have never once sat here and said, "Ah, yes, I would like everyone to have as much fun as I am right now. Therefore, I will play Mill."
Okay.
Things I've never said. All right.
Next deck is from Fizzban. Came all the way from Denmark, right?
Think so. With Chrissy Aggro.
Chrissy Aggro.
Oh, it is.
I definitely did not. When I saw Chrissy, I'm like, oh god, there's another one. Then I was like, wait a second. Those are aggro cards.
Those are aggro cards.
Not even running Wink.
That's
It's-
just bold.
It's not running.
No.
I mean, this is a good changeling gimmick. I like this changeling gimmick.
You thought I was Control. Surprise.
It's very similar to the gimmick I pulled a few years ago at BABSCon. Yes.
Thought
Oh,
it
Is
was
this-
aggro.
I
Is
heard
this
Aura just say...
Chrissy?
Go ahead.
Go. I was gonna say, is this Chrissy reuniting the changelings
No.
under her control?
No.
I was going to say, I just heard Aura say, I like this changeling gimmick, then looked over at the deck and saw primarily Crayola bugs, so I don't even know who I'm talking to now.
No, it doesn't matter, because when you look at this in your opener, you're like, oh good, I'm up against the control deck. This is going to be terrible. And so you like mentally prepare yourself for losing at the beginning, and then it's like, we'll get stick bugged.
And then you still lose, but not in the way you thought you were. Timble just wanted everyone to have a good old-fashioned feelings for him. And Chrissy was invited.
It's okay. Nothing wrong with that.
Chrissy declined the invitation.
Next
Which
list.
is interesting, but anyway.
So next we have Istogrim.
What?
Not running white. It's Grogar.
And not running taxes either. This is just Grogar Farm.
What?
The Applejack is interesting.
Which Applejack?
Honest as the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one is kind of interesting. I kind of dig it in a format where you're expecting there to be a bit more hard removal. And Adventure does have potentially a lot of hard removal. Yeah, I mean, Grogar Farm does well. It's not like it's a bad list. It just sometimes can have some difficult matchups. And if you're willing to dedicate a couple other card slots that can slightly reduce Pony of Shadows consistency, which you're only running one copy of anyway, in exchange for possibly keeping your Garbles around, yeah, sure, why not, right?
Yeah. I wonder why they only went for the one copy of Consolation Prize. I would think that would be an automatic 3 of. I was gonna ask if that card saw any work being done over the course of the tournament. Didn't get a chance to catch any of Istogrim's games.
I know there were a few other people who may not be listed here in the top 8, but they also ended up using Consolation Prize. Because, you know, if you're going to try farming, you might as well use what's out there, right?
Yeah,
It's
good.
It was intended to be a farming card, so yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I think the next one is Bugle. With Yonan Sandbar. And it's all white.
This deck
This thing was fast.
This deck ran my deck over hard in Swiss.
Yeah, this went undefeated in Swiss.
It's a real fast
cheap,
list.
Cheap white friends, cheap white events, hats, also endless generosity because of or outrageous generosity because of course. I mean, yeah, it's white aggro.
But it's got Wink because, of course, you're going to run Wink.
I mean, cheap white event. I mean, it's Wink, and Wink is good, but even if it wasn't Wink, and you would still play it and do nothing, because it's 0 cost plus 2 power.
Even aggro decks need to pack some disruption. The glassiest of glass cannon aggro decks.
How much
does at 75 puck wedgies and no disruption?
How much does this rely on outrageous outfit and endless generosity?
It actually doesn't even need it. It's just there if it gets it.
If it gets it, it's nice.
Yeah.
It just ends the game faster.
I just don't see how it's fast without it.
There's a lot of. I mean, when you're playing only white cards and every white card's giving power.
Right, that's the thing, right? Is what is required to be able to DFO in most games to get enough power up to problems to be able to trigger that, right?
Yeah.
And Yona and Sandbar do that better than any other main in Adventure, maybe even better than Bluna.
Yeah.
And so that's mostly what it comes down to. It's just any card in your deck. It doesn't matter. Like, Bluna does it because Bluna has hasty cards. Yona and Sandbar do it because their cards have white printed on them.
That's more common.
It do go fast, though. And when you do end up running into the finisher, like if you don't have hand disruption or you aren't able to rip out the tools well enough, yeah, you can just lose to outrageous generosity. It can happen. Speaking from experience, I got run over by it.
I didn't go up against it.
However, there is one thing it cannot beat, which is the next deck.
Ta-da!
Stupid deck.
We had all white, now we have all pink.
And that thing it can't beat is pink being mean.
I have
How
no
much-
idea how I got up here.
How much removal?
What do you mean you don't know? Have no idea how? You have all the removal. You have party mares.
I don't
you
have enough removal.
You have all the removal.
Let's see, we have dismiss the thing, steal the
Steal the
thing,
thing, Steal,
replace the
dismiss the thing
thing,
again.
dismiss the thing, draw the cards, steal the thing, dismiss the thing, dismiss the thing.
You got all the stuff.
More replace the
You have-
thing.
Do you have Pipsqueak because Eager's dumb?
I still think I got
Pipsqueak
lucky.
is such a good card.
Now this continues to behave the exact same way it has basically every other time we featured it. It's moody.
And it just so happened that this time around it was behaving. For you, not for your opponent.
When it has a very good day, you're going to do dumb stuff like go second and then play a Pipsqueak and 2 party mares. And then your opponent is going to proceed to have a bad time because this is very quickly going to get out of control.
Right, because you played a Pipsqueak and 2 party mares. And that's
Which
dumb.
one do you return to your hand?
None of them. You
Yeah,
can
just turn it over.
you can return 0.
And then the party mares go ballistic. And you draw entirely too many cards and end up with answers to everything that happens, and then your opponent just kind of dies. The rest of the time, it gives you weird sequences of cards that don't actually do anything, and you're just like, well, I can kind of, like, limp along and attempt to aggro, and it doesn't matter because my opponent's just going faster, and now I lose.
You
Yeah.
say that being in the top 4, though.
I do. I still think that is an anomaly. I think I was seed 7 or 8.
Good
Yeah,
enough.
you were 2-2-1. Yeah, and like the Swiss results versus final results here are interesting.
I believe every single match was an upset.
They,
I
in
think
the
you're
top
right.
8,
ye-
I know mine was.
almost, yeah. So like, we are already past the 4-1s and the 5-0. They
The
all
decks we're just
lost
talking
in
about,
top
right?
8. Yeah.
Yeah, just upsets all the way down.
Yeah, so the top 4 did not contain any of the top decks from Swiss.
Matchups be like that.
That's kind of rare. But I don't know, like if you have balanced decks, also we're not doing best of 3, we're doing best of 1 here.
Yeah, if this
Right.
was doing best of 3, I do not expect that this would have made it. Like, that's, I think, just what this deck does. It's just like, I'm deciding to have a good day today.
Yeah. Okay.
You accomplished everything you set out to do that day.
I don't know.
Play party mirrors.
Everything else is somewhat secondary to that, yeah.
Okay. Let's take a look.
I think this is mill number 2.
Yeah. Which, yeah, we did the same. We both went 3-2 in Swiss. And then I forget who I was up against actually in
top 4.
8. In top 8.
Top 8, I believe you were against Instagram.
Yeah.
Hold on, I can verify that fairly easily. Yeah, you were against Instagram.
Yeah. And I don't know, it did mill things. It didn't have the other change that GP had, so.
Do you think it mattered?
No, not for. I mean,
not for top, but just in general.
I actually do think the barn is kind of a good call, because like you do get so many power counters, and you're like, what do I do with them?
So you did keep your school shut down. GP opted to switch it out. Did you ever use it?
I think I did once.
Yeah, there were a couple matchups where I did regret having taken that out, so.
Especially with the thoraxes, which we'll see in a second.
I know you were trying to use it against me.
That being said, the one application I saw where you did use school shutdown was actually a loss of game on board, so, like...
Yeah.
Was it actually the right call?
Well, but that's because I forgot that rock turret's stack.
Oh, was that when you miscounted the power on something?
No, it's just I forgot that rock turret stacks. I was only counting them as 1 point, because that's what rock turret does. It scores you 1 point.
But it scores you 1 point per rock turret.
Yeah, that's too complicated.
I processed rock turret number 1. I now processed rock turret number 2.
So
rock turret allows me to take a point from the Aether and put it onto my scorecard.
Can we please? Alright, I'm going into the master document right now. We're adding an Aether zone.
Oh my god.
Anyway, we've talked about this deck a lot. Next up is Kevin with Thorax.
Yay! Weirdest finals ever.
Yes.
That was bizarre.
It was weird.
It was correct though.
So you know how
so correct.
You know how in aggro, ever since the rule change to no first confront bonus, you just want to double confront as much as possible, right? Right?
No.
Well, not here.
Well,
that one was weird. And yet, the more you go and watch that game, the more you watch that final match and the turns roll by and no face-off having happened, the more you realize this is probably just objectively correct for these two decks.
Yeah.
No, that's how it be. That's once you pass a certain threshold, you are bound to sit there and just continue building up, because whoever starts the face-off is going to have a bad time.
This was because there were 0 bonus problems, right?
It was that, and also
the day shifts. Yeah.
We both had. Well, I had 2 day shifts. I believe he only had 1. I had point acceleration and he did not, so he opted to go for the face-off.
Yeah, that's what I eventually got to. But I think that the start of it
after he got rid of my day shifts, though.
Yeah.
Like I had no reason to go for the face-off because I had point, and he needed to get rid of my day shifts to go for it.
Yeah, but the critical part was just the 0 bonuses. So whoever does the first face-off gets nothing, and then the next turn they're gonna get like 4 or 5 points.
Right.
Like instant jump ahead.
Yeah, a face-off at the beginning was worth 2 points, counting the double confront. A face-off after that was going to be worth a minimum of 4. Probably. It was very likely it was going to be a minimum of 4. It could have been as high as 5.
Yeah. So, and we can take a look at the other Thorax deck. I don't actually know how different these are.
They are a little different. So this is actually the same deck I ran at Continentals. The only changes here are I took out the Kind Ponies for Day Shift, and I took out Pearl Heist for Anxious Animals. Nothing else is different from Continentals.
Yeah, that's fair.
Now there is an argument that Spooky Ruins is not good in Adventure. I couldn't really be bothered to figure out what to switch it out for, so I just kept it in there.
I mean, it's fine. There were a couple farm decks that you were playing around with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like you're ever going to look at Spooky Ruins and be like, boy, this card is bad. You might just be like, I don't need to spend 2 AT on this card.
I mean, if I think there's a chance I'm gonna play it, I keep it in. If I know I'm not gonna play it, I side it out. Easy sideboard choice.
Yeah, very true.
Remember, the objective here is to require as little thought as possible, while still making Thorax gigantic.
Good news. Thorax is built for this.
It's great.
Literally built different.
He's built just the way he needs to be.
This means
Maybe
that
a little bit too much.
clearly this means that Thorax is the best pony.
Clearly this means that Adventure's still a bad format. Change my mind.
Change the format.
Wins the format. Is bad. Fix, please.
Wins the tournament. This format is still bad. You haven't convinced me of anything.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
It's not about winning. It's about sending a message.
And the message is play Thorax.
The message is Thorax is dumb.
Ruin the mill player's fun, because Thorax can outrun mill.
I'm going to let you make some custom Dragon Shield sleeves with that image of the of Changeling Chrysalis on there, and then just take them to a tournament Ivory and watch Aura's face when you pull out your deck.
Aura already gives me dirty looks just by existing half the time. I don't need to give him reasons to look at me dirty even more.
No, see, that'll be funny, because then it'll be on stream, so then it'll be recorded forever.
I'm always on my worst behavior. I'll find other ways to ruin everything.
Speaking of finding other ways to ruin everything, hey, how about that panel that we ran? That was fun.
Yeah. Did we post the video yet?
Probably not.
I don't remember if we did or not.
I know it's on the channel. I just don't think I've done anything with it yet.
You should go watch the video.
It's funny.
Unless
How?
you were
It's
at the panel.
unlisted.
Just guess. Just guess at the URL.
Yeah,
just start typing things in the URL, and maybe you'll get it eventually.
You'll figure
Okay,
it out.
how many bits of entropy is the YouTube video
Too
ID?
much. Too much.
Way more than you probably feel like dealing with. So what's next for us then?
I feel like this
Now
has been
that-
getting longer.
Now that Babs is done.
Well, how much do we want to go into that right now? Versus just next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Everyone plan to go to Everfree. Go.
I mean, yes.
Go book your flights. I haven't
Well-
booked mine yet, but you know.
I mean,
You
I think
never
we-
book your flight early.
I think we did figure at least one thing out.
Which was? You want to talk about? Yeah. I figured that was where you were going with that. It is probably worth making the announcement regarding the location of Continentals sooner rather than later, as it will allow people to have a better chance to plan their travel accordingly. those of you who were present at Ciderfest last year might remember that I believe Ciderfest was actually the first con we've had in a while where we had a full 16 players in attendance for the Swiss event. Is that correct?
Yes, and that's without a majority of the West Coast presence there.
Yeah, there were quite a few people from the West Coast who were unable to make it that particular year. And you know, Ciderfest used to be the home of Continentals for quite some time, basically since it stopped being run at Gen Con. So there was a lot of discussion that was going on over whether or not we would be able to run Ciderfest, or I'm sorry, run the Continentals at Ciderfest again. Unfortunately, there are just a couple of factors that came up that make that unlikely to happen this year, or likely that if it did happen, it would not be successful. There's the moving of the hotel venue, and those of you who were there at the second Continentals for Ciderfest in the atrium might remember what that was like.
I definitely enjoyed the quality artistic talent on the Renegade stage.
Yeah.
You can choose which pieces of that are sarcasm.
And the other part is just the timing and planning and responsiveness of the events and programming that we've seen from some of those cons. And so we need to be guaranteed to have a workable space with enough time to announce this in advance. So for 2024, we are once again going to be holding Continentals at Everfree. In the future, it is entirely possible that this could change. Especially as people continue to show interest across the country. It's been really cool over the last several years, ever since the pandemic, and we got through all that, leading into where we are now with this, new development of player interest. Continental's attendance has grown every year since 2020. Good.
Yeah. It would be nice to run it somewhere else, but the stars are just not aligning for anywhere other than Everfree this year.
Yeah. So, once more, West Coast, Best Coast, and then we'll see what happens in the future.
We should run them in none of it.
Hold it in Canada. Hold it in Vancouver.
It is the North American Continental Championships.
Exactly.
Also, we'll hold it at HithCon. Come on.
That's fine.
The most expensive Continentals ever.
That means you get to make Hithrock judge it.
Actually,
that would be funny.
Well, okay, Hithrock, if you don't want to hold Continentals, say something now. All right, I guess Hithrock's running Continentals then.
No. Everfree will be where Continentals happens. And we might do some other stuff there as well. Maybe.
For now, though, I think that we'll about wrap up our topic, or our discussion on this topic for today. We would like to give a big shout out to all of our patrons over on Patreon. Thank you so much for your regular support. If you aren't currently a patron and you enjoy what we do, please consider donating. Doing so does enable us to continue making content like this and lets you earn some great perks as a bonus. If you have comments or questions you'd like to send our way, feel free to reach out to us through Facebook, Twitter, or email. And if you're a patron, you can also chat live with us on Slack any day, anytime. Finally, if you're looking to watch any of our previous videos, including tournament recordings, you can find them on our YouTube channel, linked just below the stream. With all that said, thank you to each and every one of our viewers, both here now and watching this recording later. We are, as always, Commentary is Magic. I am, as always, Grand Paws.
Big Cheese.
I'm still tired. Are
I'm
you also
Sparky,
tired?
Baby Dragon.
Go. Stop.
I hate it.
Make it
Justice
stop.
for Sparky. Justice for Sparky, Baby Dragon.
We'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.